Okay, I can, it is visible, I feel. Kantadala? Okay. So now, what are the conditions for a soil to be well graded and poorly graded? Again, this is very important. For a well graded soil sample, the value of the value of Cc should be between 1 and 3. Note down. That is, for a well graded soil sample, your value of Cc should be between 1 and 3. Similarly, for gravels, it is for gravels, if the value of Cu is greater than 4, then I call it as well graded soil sample or the gravels. For sand, your value of Cc should be between 1 and 3, and your Cu value should be greater than 6. So first one I am using for a well graded soil sample, where my Cc value should be 1 and 3 and Cu should be greater than or equal to 4. Similarly, if it is a sandy soil sample, then your Cc value is same for both. Only the change what we have is your Cu value should be greater than 6. Okay. So you can see there, one of the problem it is given. Cu is given as 450 and Cc is given as 2. So what is Cu? Cu should be greater than 4. I agree. It is a, it satisfies. Second one, it says that Cc is 2. Cc is 2 indicates what? It is between 1 and 3. So therefore I can call it as it is a well graded soil sample. Okay. But now always remember, that is, for this part, to tell a soil sample as a well graded soil sample, both your Cc and Cu should be matching with respect to the result. For example, both your Cc and Cu should satisfy this condition. If it satisfies only one condition, then it is called as poorly graded soil sample. Okay, it may satisfy Cc, it may satisfy, but Cu it may not satisfy. Then it is poorly graded. Then, therefore, for this condition to satisfy, both has to satisfy. Then only I'll call it as a well graded, right? So based on that only I can say, if one condition, if Cu satisfies and Cc doesn't satisfy, it is a poorly graded or uniformly graded soil sample. Okay, so that is how you have to understand. Okay, now see, this is one of the curve. Maybe you have seen this curve. Where are the different types of curve, right? The one curve we call it as, maybe it is yeah, it is visible. It is a well graded soil sample. Second, we are having a gap graded soil sample, and we are having a poorly graded soil sample or uniformly graded soil sample. What do you mean by a well graded soil sample? A well graded soil sample, a well graded soil sample is a soil sample which comprises of all the sizes of particles, all the particle size with respect to the given soil sample. It may have 1 mm soil sample, it may have 2, 3, 4, 5, all varieties of soil particles are there in the given soil sample. Therefore, I call it as a well graded soil sample. The purpose of calling, or why I am calling well graded, because in such soil sample, the voids, the presence of voids are very, very less. Okay, therefore it is a well graded. Why it is less? Because whatever the particles, if there is a void, I'm having that smaller size particle which will fill the voids, right? Because it is having various particle sizes, so therefore the amount of voids are very less. Same manner, a uniformly graded soil sample, you can see a graph, it is having only particular sizes of soil particle, it is not having the variety, right? Hence it is called as a uniformly graded soil sample or poorly graded soil sample. Third one, sorry, third one what I have is, it is a gap graded. Gap graded means particular set of soil sample, sizes of soil sample is missing. Okay, it may have 2 to 4 mm, 4 to 6 it is missing, from 6 to 10 it is there, right? In between part, some of the part is missing in that particular soil sample which has been provided. Such kind of a soil sample we call it as gap graded soil sample. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to go with the grain size distribution, and this is how you are supposed to go with the thing. So next one, I'll just brief up with the sedimentation analysis again. So that was sample whichever you found out between 4.75 mm to 75 micron. Particles which is passing your 75 micron, that is what we call it as the sedimentation analysis. Based on that analysis, I will find out what is the amount of silt or what is the amount of clay. Briefly, I'll explain this because it will take more than 2 hours. I doesn't want to waste so much of time. So this sedimentation analysis, it is mainly based on Stokes law. Remember this. Stokes law is a person who have done an experiment to find out what is the amount of particles, fine particles present with respect to the velocity of the particle at which the particle is getting settled. Clear? So therefore, you have to be very careful. That is, see, I'm having a particle, a larger diameter size of particle is there, or a larger weighted particle is there. If I place that particle on a water, it will settle very fast inside the water because of the self weight of it, and that is the other is because of the gravity. Same manner, I have a smaller size particle. If I drop that smaller size particle on a, inside on a water, I'll allow it for some time. The particle will settle. Initially, it will be very fast. Once it enters a constant value, it will settle very slowly. Right now, based on this settlement criteria, the velocity at which it settles and the time taken by the particle to settle, we find out what is the diameter of the particle. Based on that, I find out, and this velocity at which the particle settles is called as terminal velocity, right? This is known as, the analysis is based on the Stokes law, for which it is known as terminal velocity of the sphere falling through an infinite liquid medium. So liquid medium, what I'm using is water. Okay, so therefore you can see that initially the velocity of the particle settle will be high, or it increases, and after a constant height or a constant depth, the velocity becomes constant, and this is what we call it as terminal velocity. The entire concept of this sedimentation analysis based on Stokes law is based on terminal velocity of the particle at which it settles. Okay, so that is what, see how it is done. Yeah, this one equation is very important. Okay, the terminal velocity V is equal to, it is 1 by 18 gamma s minus gamma w divided by mu s, that is the viscosity of the liquid, into d square. Okay, you can note down this equation. 1 by 18, remember, the viscosity value is given in terms of gram second per centimeter square always. Density of water is gram per centimeter cube, it is 1. Unit weight of water is given as gram per centimeter cube, that may be any value. Okay, d is the diameter of the spherical particle, that is in terms of centimeter, and v is the terminal velocity which you are supposed to find out. Sometimes they will tell you that terminal velocity is given in the problem, find out what is the diameter of the particle. So based on the terminal velocity, I can find out, this is one equation from which I can find out what is the particles. Okay, hope you have written some of the points. Maybe I'll give you this part. Okay, this ppt also I'll give you. Next next very important part is the third equation what has been provided in terms of mm, what you have to do. Usually the v can also be written as, this is in terms of mm, 1 by 180 into gamma s minus gamma w. Mu w is the viscosity of water into d square. Okay, fine. So again, the Stokes law, this is the hydrometer analysis what we have. So hydrometer is there at the center. You can see the hydrometer bulb is there. We are having the container where the container has to be filled by water. How much water? It is 1000 ml of water has been fixed, and you have to have a soil sample which is homogeneously mixed with the water, and then you are going to place. So hydrometer will give you the different values. So based on the values, you are supposed to find out what is the hydrometer value. But thing is, see, this is how the mixing, all everything is done. This is what the soil sample. So we have to go with the calibration of hydrometer. Why we have to go with the calibration of hydrometer? Because I'm having various type of hydrometer with the various diameter or the various dimensions. For that purpose I have to go with the calibration of the hydrometer things. Okay, so this is how the calibration, again this is a simple concept. I'll give you this part, already the student has knows about it. Okay, so which are the different corrections? Different corrections what we have is, one is the meniscus correction, that is with respect to the reading what you're taking. Second one is the temperature correction, that is with respect to the temperature what you're taking. And third one is the deflocculating agent. What do you mean by meniscus correction? Remember, what happens in the case of meniscus correction? When the soil sample is something like this, your hydrometer reading is something like this, always we are supposed to take the value with respect to the lowest meniscus. Okay, lower meniscus value I am taking the value. You know what is a meniscus reading, right? The water sample at the top, from the bottom part, whatever we get, that is what we call the lower meniscus, right? So therefore what I'll do is, this lower meniscus what I have, I can see this when my water is pure or it is not having anything in that. But when the water is very muddy, shaggy, you can see that how it is. The first one, fully muddy, you cannot see the lower meniscus value in this case. But in that case, what I'll do, I'll see the upper meniscus value. So therefore, what happens? Always your value for your meniscus correction is positive. Remember, your meniscus correction is always positive. Why? Because you are taking the higher value. So therefore, it is always a positive part. Next one, temperature correction. So as I told, the temperature will vary. We have to take a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, right? It may not be 27 always. Somewhere else it may be 30, or somewhere it can be 25 also. So there is a correction. Either it may higher or it is lower. Always the temperature correction with respect to the calibration has to be positive or negative with respect to the temperature. It can be plus or minus as the correction with respect to the temperature. Last one, the deflocculating agent. While doing this hydrometer analysis, we'll add some chemicals to the water. Why I am adding chemicals to the water? Because if I don't add, what will happen is, these particles, whatever I am taking, it will stick with each other and then it will settle. What will happen if it sticks with each other? The rate of settlement will be very fast. Instead, I want this particle should not stick with each other. For that purpose, in your water, I am going to add some chemicals. So because of sodium silicate is one of the chemical which you are adding. So when I add it, it will not allow the particles to combine with each other. Rather, they will be separated with each other and then the particles will settle. But this deflocculating agent, as I told, when we add some amount of this washing powder or something to water, you can see some whitish, that what we call like a fog or something will come up, right? Bubbles, etc. will come up. This is the deflocculating. So if that happens, what happens? The whatever the value are taken, it will be higher. Therefore, your deflocculating agent is always negative. Meniscus correction is always positive. Temperature correction is either positive or negative. And your deflocculating agents are always negative. Remember this. Three things. Okay. So these are some things which are very important for your this thing. Okay. So next part what we have is a consistency limit. So this part we will do it in the next coming classes. So 1 hour I have already taken this. So fine. So now let us go with some of the problems. Okay, we'll solve some of the problems with respect to what we have studied in today's class. Okay, fine. One second, we'll go with, I think, last class, anyone knows till how many problems we have solved? 9 or 10? I feel 10 problems we have solved. Anyone? Anyone has an idea last class how many problems we solved?
10,
10
10.
questions. Okay, fine. So we'll continue with that thing itself. Okay. So you may be having your, what I say, uh, any book or something, what as I told. So we'll go with the next question. 15th question. 15th with the answers. Okay, these are something which I have downloaded. A friend has sent this gate materials. Okay, yeah, 10 questions is done. Okay, we'll go with the next one. So one by one, you have to answer me and you have to tell me an answer. We'll see. No guesswork. Okay, we will discuss on each problem and then we'll do it. Yeah. The question is, void ratio of a soil mass can never a. I think you can see, right? Questions. Can you see? ಕಾಣ್ತದಾ ಆಶ್ರಿತ
Yes.
ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಮಲಗಿಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಸೌಂಡ್
ಸರ್.
ಇದ್ಯಾ? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಇದ್ಯಾ? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅವ ಕಾಣುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೋದ್ನಾ ಅಂತ. ಅನುಷ ಇದ್ಯಾ?
ಸರ್ ಇದೇನು ಸರ್?
ನಿತಿನ್ ನಿತಿನ್
Sure.
ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರೈಟ್? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಎನಿವನ್?
ನೋ ಸರ್.
ಕಾಣುದಿಲ್ವಾ? ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಸಿ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್?
ನೋ ಸರ್.
No.
ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್. Once again we'll start. One second. ಈಗ ಕಾಣ್ತದಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
Okay,
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
fine. Let us discuss this problem. Okay. Again, this is a competitive questions. Okay, remember one thing. These are not only for the GATE exam. Okay, these are questions with respect to any of the competitive exams, because I have taken this from the RRB Railway Recruitment Board exam, questions from RRB and SSC JE exam, and it is also some of the questions are also from other IAS questions also. Okay, if you are interested for IAS also, some of the questions I have taken. Fine. Okay, now void ratio of a soil mass can A never be greater than unity. It is 0 void ratio. Okay, what is void ratio? It is E, right? E is equal to VV by Vs, right? Okay, it can be never be greater than unity. Take any value greater than 0. Takes values between 0 and 1 only. Try this. I want to know. I want to know what is the answer. Void ratio of a soil mass can never be, you know what is the definition of void ratio? What can be the least value of void ratio? What can be the maximum value of void ratio? Anyone? Give me answer in chat box. Your options in chat box. C. One student is giving me answer as C. Next. Bigger. Madi. Think and tell me the answer. Please think and tell me the answers. Anyone else? Anusha and Manjunath and Ashrita. Please type it in the chat box. See, fine. Two more. Two more students. I want your answers. ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್? ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಈಗ, ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿ ಹೇಳಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. Waiting for Ashrita. Finally, all are giving me answer as C. Okay, let us find out what is an answer. Answer is C. Very good. Why? Void ratio is defined as ratio of volume of voids by volume of solids. That is E is equal to VV by Vs. Fine, correct. Therefore, VV can be greater than, less than, or equal to void ratio, that is volume of solids, right? Total volume of voids can be greater than, less than, or equal to. That is why we call it as The answer for this is C, right? It can take any value greater than 0, right? The void ratio can take any greater value than 0. So therefore, whatever you people have told, it is right. Clear? Okay. Now let us go with the next problem. Undodi bedi yaar sa. Okay, we will discuss the answers. Okay. Yeah. Next one. If the volume of voids is equal to volume of solids, what is that? Volume of voids to volume of solids? It is E value. Then the value of porosity and void ratio are 1 and 1, 0 and 1, 0.5 and 1, 1 and 0.5. Try this. We will see who will give a right answer. Hmm? If the volume of void is equal to volume of, okay, okay, fine. I got an answer. Yeah, tell me. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸಿ. ಅನುಷ ಎರಡು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಉಂಟು, ಎರಡು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡುದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಒಂದೇಳು.
ಸರ್ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ ಸಿ ಸಿ.
ಸಿಯಾ? ಓಕೆ, okay, we'll see. One answer is C. Next, others. Simple, simple. Only the thing is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Okay, little bit you have to think here. Answer, first one is saying Ashrita, Anusha is saying answer is C. Next, Ashrita, Nitin, Manjunath. Any answer? Manjunath, ನಿಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, but doesn't matter. Okay, I'll give you all the notes. ಉಂಟಾ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ಉಂಟಾ ಯಾರತ್ತಾದ್ರು? If you don't know answer, please write don't know. Anyone? Don't know. Fine. Next. Anyone? Manjunath, C. Okay. One more. Ashrita. Ashrita is having any answer for this? ಇಲ್ವಾ ಆಶ್ರಿತಾ? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. We will answer. We will solve this. No answers. Fine. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತಾದ ನಂತರ ಹೇಳೋದ ನೀವು? Okay. We'll try this. The question says, if the volume of a void is equal to volume of solids, that means VV is equal to VS. Okay, VV is equal to VS. So listen here. Yeah, exactly. One of the student have given me right answer. Very good. See, the volume of voids is equal to, that is VV is equal to volume of solids. Fine, correct answer. Porosity is given as VV by V, or N is also equal to VV by VV plus VS. Why? The total volume is VV plus VS plus VA. You have done the three-phase diagram. The three-phase diagram says total V is equal to volume of voids plus volume of solids, right? Therefore, you are giving a solution answer that at the top Vv is equal to Vs. So therefore I get Vv plus Vs plus, sorry, Vv plus Vv. It is 2 times of Vv. Therefore n is equal to 0.5. So I want you people to just note down this problem. Okay, the problem and just note ಮಾಡಿ. Very interesting problem. Okay, if the volume of voids is equal to the volume of solids in the soil mass, then the value of porosity and void ratio are 1 and 1. ಯಾರು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿರೋದು? ಅನುಷಾ, ನೀನು ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ನೀನು? ಆದ್ರೆ ಸೇಮ್
ನೀ
ಮಾಡಿ.
ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಸರಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is how it has been done. So the answer is, you can see the solution. One method how we can do is, porosity is n is equal to Vv. So it is Vv is equal to Vs. So it is 2 times of Vs or 2 times of Vv, whatever it is. Bottom is E is equal to Vv by Vs. Vv by Vs is equal to 1, because Vs is also equal to Vv. Simple, right? So therefore the answer is C is the answer, where n is equal to 0.5 and E is equal to 1. Okay, fine. So this is how you are supposed to solve the problem. Okay, fine. Let's go with the next problem. Okay, ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದು? We'll go with the next one. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, when the degree of saturation is 0, the soil mass under consideration represents, simple question, one phase system, two phase system with solid and air, two phase system with solid and water, or it is a three phase system. Let me check your answers fast. No time, one ನಿಮಿಷದ problem ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು, just 10 or 20 seconds problem. Get me an answer in the chat box. When the degree of saturation is 0, that means S is equal to 0. Anusha is saying B. Next. Anusha, ನೀನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ. Let's start. Next one. One person is giving me answer as B. Think and give me an answer. Okay, you have to think properly and then only you have to give me an answer. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್?
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಹೋಯ್ತಾ? ಓಕೆ, 1 second. ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೇನೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಏನೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಆಗಾಗ. ಈಗ ಕಾಣ್ತದಾ? Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Answer. I want answer in the chat box. So Anusha has given me answer as B. Nitin has given me answer as B. Next. Ashrita has given us B. Next. If it is wrong, there is no problem at all. ನಾನು ಬೈಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುದಿಲ್ಲ. We will answer it. That's it. Okay. But think yourself and give me an answer. Think properly and give me an answer. Manjunath, ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್, A B C D ಯಾವುದು? Okay, Manjunath is also giving me an answer B. Okay, fine. So now the question is, when the degree of saturation is 0, that means when S is equal to 0, simple is, it is a dry soil sample. What is a dry soil sample? That is, it is a two-phase system, sure, but it is a dry soil sample, therefore it is air. So simple thing, it is B's answer. So no need of more discussion on this. We have already discussed the answer B. Next, yeah, this is what we have studied. Select the correct range of density index ID is greater than 0, ID is equal to or greater than 0, ID is between 1 and greater than 0 and uh, less than 0 and less than 1, or equal to 0 and less than equal to or lesser than 1, which is an answer for this ID value, that is related density value. It's a slightly tricky question, right? Okay, whatever, try this. ID value I told you that time, it is E max minus E divided by E max minus E minimum.
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್
ಪುನಃ ಹೋಯ್ತಾ? ಈಗ ಕಾಣ್ತದಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಕಾಣ್ತದಾ? ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಉಂಟಾ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ನಾನು ಮಿನಿಮೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ. I'll try in the next class whether it is possible to do it in a Moodle, okay? Because I'll try to solve it. Class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? Because otherwise I can't, I don't have anything here. ಬರ್ದು ತೋರಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay. Any answers? It might be slightly difficult. Answer is D. Anusha is saying me D. Fine. One answer has come. Next. Kuttiladre? No, I don't know. Next. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನಾನು. Don't know. Fine. Small 10 marks exam we'll have. Okay. Where we'll discuss about your answers and your performance. Ashrita, no. Next. Manjunath. Any answers? Manjunath also don't know. Okay, fine. We'll discuss on this. Okay. Hope you can see. Yeah. So relative density. Okay. Our Anusha, right? Anusha has given me right answer. So Anusha has given me right answer. Yeah. Once again, she has done. She is doing very well. I want everyone to think about like her. Okay. Okay. E max minus E divided by E max minus E minimum. This is what we have told. Listen. If the natural soil condition E is equal to E max, right? If it is a natural soil sample where it is the loose soil sample, your E becomes as E max, the entire thing becomes 0. Simple. Instead of E, you substitute it as E max. If the natural soil is in the dense condition, your E will become as E minimum. Okay, your E will become as E minimum. So therefore, I have some values at the top, right? It will become as E max minus E minimum divided by E max minus E minimum. So entire thing will get cancelled. So it will be 1. So therefore, the answer for the given problem is it is D. It can be between 0 equal to 0 or less than 0, or it can be 1, right? 1 equal to 1 or greater than 1. That is what is your answer. The answer has to be least value is 0. It can be equal to 0 or greater than 0, or equal to 1 or greater than 1. That is your answer. Okay. D is an answer. So please understand. Simple. The thing is, we have to think how it is done. See the equation what I have given. That is the equation we have discussed previously. Okay. Fine. Okay. Next. We'll go with the next one. Okay. Fine. If the degree of saturation is partially saturated soil is 60%, then air content of the soil is, if the degree of saturation of a partially saturated soil is, that means S is given as 60%. What is the value of air content? That is Na. Okay. You can refer any textbook, notebook, or whatever the equation you have written, and then try to give me an answer for this. 2 minutes time. Okay. Start with the, try to solve this. I told you, you have to have a calculator also. Is it possible for you to solve this? Answer is A. Okay. We'll see. So Ashrita has given me an answer as A. Anusha has given me answer as A. Nitin has given me answer as A. So Manjunath, if you know, tell me the answer. Otherwise, we'll solve this. So please answer. ಖಾಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗುಂಡು ಹೊಡಿಯುವಾಗೆ ಬರೆದಿಡಬೇಡಿ. Try to solve. I am giving you the solution also. How the answer has come? What is the reason? Okay. So those will help you a lot. Okay. Whatever the solution I am giving you, that will help you a lot to understand. Hmm? So I'm waiting for one more student. Don't know. Fine. Okay, Manjunath. Very good. So we'll go on. How to solve this? So simple it is. It is a direct equation, your substitution, right? So we know that degree of saturation is volume of water by volume of voids. Air content is VA by VV. So you can interrelate this. There is an interrelationship equation that is S is equal to S plus AC is equal to 1, or we are having an equation that is NA, right? Sorry, A. I don't have this. Okay, fine. So based on that, I know that saturation plus air content is equal to 1. Saturation is given as 60%. We have one more equation. That equation I cannot write it. We are having one more equation with respect to air content, with respect to degree of saturation. So 60 plus AC is equal to 1. Therefore, 1, that is in terms of 60 percentage. So it is 1 means 100 minus 60. I get the answer of AC as 40%. Okay. So 2 students or 3 students have given me an answer as okay. So 3 students have done, and I know I'll just find out how. Yeah, how did you do this problem? That equation AC. Anyone?
So same formula.
ಯಾವುದು ಸೇಮ್
S
ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ?
plus.
Okay, 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 okay. Now there is one more formula. ನನಗೆ ಅದು ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, we'll discuss about this. Okay, fine. Okay, I think the class ಮಾಡುವಾಗ I showed you that formula that time. Okay, okay. We'll go with the next one. Okay, so if you have Manjunath, if you don't have the thing, you can just note down. Okay, the problem I have not done in your class also. So just you can have a relationship here. S plus AC is equal to 1. That is a general equation for the saturated soil sample with respect to this. S is 60% plus 1 indicates it is a fully saturated soil sample. So it is 1 into 100 minus 60 is equal to 40%. That is your what we have. Okay, fine. Okay. So we'll go on with the next one. 16th problem. If the water content of a fully saturated soil mass is 100%, just now we did a similar problem, then the void ratio of the sample is, I think you can see the problem. Then the void ratio of the sample is less than specific gravity of the soil, equal to the specific gravity of the soil, greater than the specific gravity of the soil, independent of specific gravity of the soil. If the water content is fully saturated, that means S is equal to 1, then the void ratio of the sample, there is a relationship between the void ratio and the specific gravity. Okay, so that relationship we have to say whether the specific gravity is less than whether the void ratio is less than the specific gravity of the soil. Just remember what is the relationship between the void ratio and the specific gravity. Is there any relationship between the void ratio and the specific gravity? Okay, fine. We'll go on with the answer. Anusha has Anusha, ಇದು ಬಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ ನೀನು ಈಗದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
Okay, we'll wait for the others. The others, if you are having, then you can just note down the problem. After that, you can give me an answer. Please maintain a separate book. So the note, the important material with respect to this, I will send you. Okay, probably I'll send you in the group after this class. You can refer that notes, and also coming class notes also I'll send you. That is specially for gate exam. Okay. So it may not be, I have not put the entire thing. What is important only, I have put it in that notes. I'll give you that notes also. Okay. Fine. Waiting for others. Think and tell me the answer. There is a relationship between E and G. Yeah, E and G, and also with respect to specific gravity. Based on that, you give me an answer. ನಿತಿನ್, ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್, ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಹೋದ್ಲಾ? ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ಲು ಅವಳು? ಆಶ್ರಿತ is missing. Anyone? Only Anusha is given. Take your time, no issues. But remember, in the final gate examination, one question maximum you have to take only 30 seconds. Don't take more than that. Okay. So if you take more than that, then it will be a problem. You cannot solve the other things. Okay, these are all initial problems what we get in the problem. In the coming class, I'll show you some more problems with respect to. Anyone else? ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ನಿತಿನ್, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಉಂಟಾ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ. ಫೈನ್. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ನಿತಿನ್, ಇದು ಎಂತ ಉಂಟಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ? ನೀನು ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್? Manjunath is also don't know. Okay, fine. Ashrita is missing now. Okay, we'll solve this. Answer is B is the right answer. See, for a fully saturated sample, S is equal to 100% or 1. Clear? And I told you there is a relationship between S and G and E. The relationship is E is equal to Wg by S. Water content is 100%. So therefore again this also is 1. Therefore Es is equal to Wg, that is E is equal to G, because S is 1 and W is 1. Simple. So therefore it is E is equal to G. The answer is very simple. It is that is equal to the specific gravity of the soil sample, right? So therefore the statement itself says that if the water content of a fully saturated soil mass is 100%, S is 100%, therefore your W, the water content of a fully, that means obviously water is also 100% only. So water is also 1, S is also 1. Use the equation E is equal to Wg by S. Therefore, using that equation, you can find out that your G is equal to E. That is how you are supposed to solve the problem. Clear? Okay. Now we'll go with the next one. Okay. So I believe the students Nitin and Manjunath, you can just note down how you have done, how to solve this problem. Okay. For a fully soil sample, it is S is equal to 100%, or it can write it as 1. Water content of W is also equal to 100 because it is fully saturated. So it is having 100% water, or 1 as the value. Next, we know that Es is equal to Wg. Use this equation and then find out what is an answer for this. Clear? Okay, fine. Next one, let us go with the next one. Okay, again, very simple problem. Nitin, the ratio of volume of voids to the volume of soil mass is called as? Tell me the answer. No time. ಆಚೆ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ರಪ್ಪ ರಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. Is known as? No need of discussion for this. D1. Next. Volume of voids, D. Next, Manjunath. Yes, simple. Already we have studied about this. Ratio of volume of voids to volume of solid is, answer is, it is void ratio, right? It is porosity means, sorry, that answer what he has given. volume of voids to VV by VS. Answer is oh. Ratio of volume of the ratio of volume of voids to the total volume of soil mass is void ratio, right? Yes.
Porosity.
ಹಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಳು ಕೊಟ್ಲು ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಉಳ್ದವ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲನಾ. ನಿತಿನ್ ಎಂತ ಇದು? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್, ಇದು ನೀನ್ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕಲ್ತದಷ್ಟೇ ಇದು. ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಗುಂಡೊಡಿಬೇಡಿ, ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಗುಂಡೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ಲೈವ್ ತೆಗಿತೇನೆ ನಾನು ವಿಡಿಯೋ. Okay, it is porosity, right? Yeah, so therefore air content is ratio of volume of air to volume of voids. Porosity is ratio of volume of voids to volume of soil sample. Void ratio is ratio of volume of voids to total volume of solids. Volume of solids. Volume of voids to total volume of soil mass is what we call it as the porosity. Clear? So please, simple thing, geotech ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ವಾಯ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಯ್ಡ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೊರೋಸಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿ. ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್: relative density of a compacted sand is approximately equal to. Yes, he has given you some answer, I don't know. Okay, maybe it is not easy for you to solve this. I'll just solve this. Okay, it is the relative density of a compacted dense sand is approximately, I have told you, it is more than 85%. So the answer, what it is, there was some error in this problem. 85 to 1, answer he has given as C. Okay, more than 85%. I told you relative density of a compacted dense sand is approximately equal to more than 85% is what we call it as a dense sand, right? So therefore we can have the value as 0.95 as the for the dense sand is what is given in the problem. Okay, so this problem is answer is 0.95. Relative density of a compacted dense sand. On table ತೋರಿಸಿದಾಗ ಆ table ಅಲ್ಲಿ we had different loose, we had some values that is less than 35% something. So like that, for the dense sand the value should be greater than, not more than 100%. Okay, maximum can be 100%, not more than 100%. Okay, so therefore the value of this can be taken as 0.95 as the answer. Okay, we'll go with the next one. You can see that relative density of a compacted sand is approximately is more than 85% or 0.85 to 100%, 1%, 1. Okay, 0.85 to 1 is the maximum value what we can have for the compacted dense sand. Clear? Okay, done alva bardidira idu. You have written this, you want this problem? Fine. Next one. If the sand is in if the sand in situ is in its densest state, then the relative density is, this is nice. If the sand in the inside condition is in the densest state, this we have done that time. We'll see the answer for this. The answer is 19th one. The answer is yes. Start. It is in the densest state. What happens? Just now we solved a similar kind of a problem. C is the answer. Okay, one student has given me answer as C. ಈ ಆಶ್ರತ ನೀನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿಯ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು? ಕಾಣ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದದನಾ? ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ?
ಸರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದಾ, ಮಳೆ ಬರ್ತದ ಜೋರಲ್ಲಿ?
ಸರ್.
ಹಾಗೆಯಾ? ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ, ಓಕೆ, ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿನ್ನೊಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬಂತು, ಈಗ ಉಳ್ದವ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೋಡುವ. ಗುಂಡು ಹೊಡ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಆನ್ಸರ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು.
ಅದಾ ತಲೆಗೆ ಹೊಡಿತೇನೆ ನನಗೆ. ಗೆಸ್ ಎಂತ ಉಂಟು ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ? ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿ. ಉಳ್ದವ್ರು ಅದರ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಎನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ಬಿ. ಅನುಷಾ has given me answer as ಬಿ. ಈಗ ಅಷ್ಟು ತನ ತಲೆ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತದೆ ಈಗ. ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂತು ಬಿ ಅಂತ? ನೋ ಗೆಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಯಾರು ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ, ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ನೌ. But I will make some arrangements in the coming classes, okay, so that I can use the board and I can solve the problems. Yeah, 2 answers is done. Yes, others, ಇನ್ನಿಬ್ಬರು. Simple problem it is. He says that the institute, that is E value, is equal to E max. E value is E max. What happens? Others. Related density is what? E max minus E divided by E max minus E minimum. Yes, others. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಯಾರು ಇಬ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ನಿತಿನ್ ಎಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ನಿತಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಯಾ? ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಒಬ್ಳು ಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಒಬ್ಳು ಬಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಎನಿವನ್? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್?
Screen, sir.
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಾ? ಪುನಃ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಬೇಕು ನಿಂಗೆ? ಈಗ ಬೇಗ 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 30 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಇವತ್ತು. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನಿತಿನ್? ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಿತಿನ್ ಇಬ್ರು. Don't know. Shall we solve? Shall we solve the problem? Sorry, shall we? Yeah, solve the problem. Manjunath has given me answer B. Fine. Shall we solve the problem? Nitin? Nitin can't tell. Maybe, I don't know whether he can hear my voice. Okay. So the answer is, it is B. Exactly. Why it is B? Why it is B? Because simple. ID value is equal to E max minus E divided by E max minus E minimum. E is equal to E max because it is in the dense, it is in the densest state, so E is equal to E minimum, right? So therefore the entire thing will become as E max minus E minimum divided by E max minus E minimum. It is 1, right? The answer is 1. I told you in the previous one of the similar problems, right? Okay, so that is how the answer is. The relative density of the densest sand is always, it is 1, okay, because it is having minimum value. E is equal to E minimum. Clear? This is how you are supposed to solve the problem. Fine. Now let us go with the next one. Okay, so we'll go with the next problem. Yeah. Which of the following methods is more accurate in the determination of water content of soil? Which of the following methods is most accurate for determining the water content of the soil? Already discussed. Anyone? D. Fine. Next. D. Next. Three D's are there. 1 2 3 ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ accurate method of determining water content. ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಡಿ. ಫೈನ್. ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಮಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ as ಡಿ. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ. ಇವತ್ತೇ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ವಾಟರ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓವನ್ ಡ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ accurate lab method which will not give you any problem. Why did you tell D? See, D is not accurate because I want to know what is the value of G. If I know the value of G, then only I can find out what is the value of your water content, right? Without that, it is not possible. Calcium carbide method is a rapid method. You want to find out the result, but it is not accurate. You will get the result at a very fast. Within 24 hours, you will get the answer. Again, sand bath method, same as oven drying, except in the drying in the sand bath. It is also where you cannot control your temperature here. Okay, you cannot control the temperature in the sand bath. Hence, even this is a wrong. Okay, so I expected any one fellow will give me an answer as A. Okay, so ಒಂದು ಹೋಯ್ತು ಮುಂದೆಯಿಂದ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹಿಂದೆಯಿಂದ ಒಟ್ಟೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲ. ಕುರಿಗಳ ತರ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಈಗ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಕ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಓವನ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಸಿ ಓವನ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಮೆಥಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಅನ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್. Okay, simply that is why I say that oven dry is a controlled. I am saying that temperature has to be controlled. I cannot control the temperature using any of the other equipments, right? The oven dry method, that oven what I have, I controlled it for 105 to 107 degrees Celsius. I keep it for 24 hours. That is why I call this one as the accurate method which I can use. That is why it is which of the following method is the most accurate method for determining the water content of the soil. Therefore, oven dry method is the most accurate method where I can find out what is the water content of the given soil sample. Clear? So this is how you have to think and you have to tell. Right? Sumne gundodi badi yarsa. That is how I have given you the explanation. Oven drying is the most standard and accurate lab method. Sand drying method is similar, but the thing is I cannot control the temperature here. Carbide is a rapid method. Which is the most rapid method is calcium carbide. Yeah, sure. So here what I'm doing is I'm mixing this soil sample with the calcium carbide, and then I'm rapidly I'm shaking that sample so that all the thing, and because of that what happens is some gas will be released, moisture will be released, that will be measured, and then I'll find out what is the amount of water which is present. Pyrometer bottle, that is not most thing is because I need to know what is the value of G. Based on that G value only I can find out. Okay, fine. Next one we'll have around 10 more minutes. After that we'll wind up. Okay, next question. For a proper field control, which of the following methods is best suited for quick determination of water content of the soil mass? Fine. Yeah. Think and answer. For a proper field control, which of the following methods is best suited for quick determination of water content of soil mass? Yeah, we'll have this answer now. Okay, hope you can see this thing. Anusha has come with the D as answer. Ashrita has come with the D as answer. 2 D bantu. Inu uldavardu read the question carefully. Okay. Yeah, 2. Next 2. B has come as a Manjunath. Okay, one different answer has come here. Next one. Anyone? Nitin? Yeah, Nitin has come with a D as answer. I think everyone have given an answer. Okay. The answer is D. Correct. Okay. In the previous slide itself, I have told you that it is a method for the rapid determination of water content from the gas pressure developed by the reaction of calcium carbide with the free water of the soil. Okay. Our student, that Manjunath was changed the answer as B. Sand bath method. Yeah, Manjunath, sand bath method is also possible, but the thing is, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we cannot find the accurate result in this part. Okay, but thing is ನೀನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊಯ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಹೊಯ್ಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪುಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹೀಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವುಡ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹೀಟ್ ಇಟ್. Once that paper sample becomes brownish color, you have to remove and then you have to take the weight. Okay, but that is not a quick method because you cannot control here. But calcium carbide you can control it in the field condition based on the calcium carbide what you have. Okay, so that is what the method is also given here. Shake until the pressure gauge reading. We are having this equipment in the lab. Okay, so if you want any time you can, we also call it as a moisture meter method. Okay, where we find out the moisture. So calcium carbide is a method which we usually use. So therefore the answer which is given D is the right answer, which is the 3 students which have given. Okay, fine. Simple question. Next one. The pygnometer used to determine water content and void ratio, specific gravity and dry density, water content and specific gravity, void ratio and dry density. Fast. Just 10 seconds. Fast. C1 next. C2 next. Next. Fast. Manjunath, Nitin. Yeah, 3 students have given. Manjunath. See, fine. That it is the right answer. So the the question is, it's a simple thing. Pygnometer is used to determine water content and specific gravity. You can find out water content. In the meantime, you can find out what is the specific gravity. Next one. Yeah, this is very much. Stokes law is valid only if the particle is 0.0002 mm, greater than 0.2 mm, between 0.2 mm and 0.0002 mm, all of the above condition. Yes. Last 10 minutes. Yes, the answer comes as Stokes law is valid for which condition?
Sir, screen.
Anyone with an answer? Anusha has come up with a C as an answer. Next. Anyone? ಗುಂಡೊಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತುಂಟು. After telling answer, you can take the answers if you don't know. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಂತಾ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು? ನೋ ಸರ್. ಫೈನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. Next one. No. By the way, you people have applied for the gate, right? All? Apply ಮಾಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ? Anusha? Ashrita? Nitin? All have applied?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಇನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಬಂತ ಕಾಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಗಿದಲ್ಲ? ಯಾವಾಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತುಂಟಾ?
30 ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇಟ್.
ಈ ಮಂತ್ 30ಯಾ? ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೆ. Okay, fine. So Nitin doesn't know the answer. I think Manjunath is also not able to find the answer. Okay, fine. Manjunath may not be knowing, but whatever, we'll see whether the answer is C or whether it is what. Stokes law is valid only for if the particle size is less than 0.002 mm, greater than 0.2 mm, between 0.2 mm and 0.02 mm, 0002 mm, all of the above. Answer is C. Exactly. That is, assumptions of Stokes law is particles are spherical, particles settle independent, wall of jar no effect on the settlement, particle size should be ranging between 0.0002 mm and 0.2 mm. That is how, this is a very important thing, because based on the Stokes law only, he has given an assumption. Based on those assumption only, the entire Stokes law, that is the terminal velocity, based on that I find the equation, everything is based. So therefore, particle size between 0.002 mm and 0.2 mm only can be used based on your hydrometer analysis. That is what the question says. Okay, Stokes law is valid only for the particle size. That is one of the assumption for that. So answer is between 0.2 mm and 0.0002 mm. Fine. So we'll go with some more questions. Okay. In hydrometer analysis for soil mass, both meniscus correction and dispersing corrections are additive. Both meniscus correction and dispersing agent corrections are subtractive. Meniscus correction is additive and dispersing agent correction is subtractive. Meniscus correction is subtractive and dispersing agent is additive. Fine. I told you in today's class. The answer is ನಿತಿನ್. ಇದು ಆಶ್ರಿತ ಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅನುಷಾ has given ಸಿ. ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು?
ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ.
ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಓಕೆ. 52. Anusha has given answer as C, Ashrita has given C, and Nitin has given C, and Manjunath has given C. Okay. All have given answer as C. The C says that meniscus correction is additive. Correct. Dispersing agent correction is subtractive. Correct. Meniscus correction is subtractive and dispersing agent is additive. Wrong. Both meniscus correction and dispersing agent are subtractive. Wrong. Both meniscus correction and dispersing agent are additive. Discussed about this. The answer is simple C. Correct it is. I told you in that time I discussed you about which are the different types of corrections which we are applying. Okay. Next one. The hydrometer method of sedimentation analysis differ from the pipette analysis mainly in the principle of the test. All the method, maybe I will just skip this question. Yeah, answer is I have not told you pipette analysis is not required actually. The hydrometer method of sedimentation analysis is differs from the pipette analysis mainly. All the methods are same. The principle of the test, the method of taking observation, the method of preparation of soil suspension, all the above. The answer for this is, it is B. That means the method of taking observation. How? Yeah. See, on the hydrometer, we are having that hydrometer tube. Okay. We place that hydrometer bulb or the tube inside. There are hydrometer values here. But in the pipette analysis, we don't have that kind of an arrangement where we take the values. So particle size of two methods, sieve analysis for 75 micron, sedimentation analysis for 75 is what we go for the pipette analysis and hydrometer analysis. Don't need to much worry about this. Next one, 26th one. Which of the following measures of particle size range? Effective size, uniform coefficient, coefficient of curvature, none of the above. Yeah, very good question. Which of the following is a measure of particle size range? The answer is yes. Last 5 minutes, at least 30 question ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ. Which of the following measure is following is a measure of particle size range? Effective size, uniformity coefficient, uniformity of curvature, or none of the above? Answer. I say D10, D30, D60 and all. These are all effective sizes. Okay. Yeah, B's answer. Manjunath is giving answer as B. Next. D10 is actually the effective size with respect to 10% finer. 30 is effective size with respect to 30% finer. Like that. Yes, answer. Please, fast. Last 5 minutes. Manjunath has given me B as an answer. Other two students, 3 students. Anusha? Ashrita, Nitin. Anusha has given A as an answer. Okay, fine. Ashrita. Think ಮಾಡಿ. Ashrita. Big. 9, 3:55 ಆಯ್ತು. B is Ashrita and A is Nitin Raj. Okay, we are having 2 students A and 2 students as a B answer. Okay, fine. The answer is it is B. Why it is B? Because effective size of D10, uniformity coefficient is D60 by D10, coefficient of curvature what we give. Okay, so therefore your answer for this question is it is uniformity coefficient measures the particle range. Okay, so therefore your answer should be between uniformity coefficient, that is it is Cu. Okay, so effective size D10 is the size what we take with respect to the coefficient of curvature and coefficient of uniformity. So therefore uniformity coefficient is usually taken for your measure of particle size range. Fine. Next one, what we have, which of the following statements of correct, maybe this is the last question. Uniformity coefficient represent the shape of this particle distribution curve. For a well-graded soil, both uniformity coefficient and coefficient of curvature are nearly unity. A soil is said to be well-graded if it has most of the particle of about same size. None of the above. Direct question it is, and I want direct answer. Yeah, Nitin has given me answer as A. Next. No, Nitin, I think he has given for the previous one. ಅಲ್ಲ ಈಗದಕ್ಕ ಎ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿತಿನ್ ಅದು present answer, question answer A. Anusha has given D. Fine. None of the above. Okay. Next. Other two. Manjunath and Ashrita. Big. 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇರೋದು. 30 ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನಿಸಿದೆ. I have lot of questions to cover now. They have given me very less time also. Anyone? Nitin has given me D and Anusha has given me D. Fine. Next. Ashrita. Answer is D is answered by Manjunath and Ashrita also D. Okay, fine. The answer is uniformity coefficient represent the shape and size of the particle of distribution curve. The answer is D, correct. Right? Uniformity coefficient represent the size of the particle. Remember this. Uniformity coefficient represent the size of the particles. Therefore, well-graded Cu is greater than 4. Cc should be between 1 and 3 for the soil sample. For the sand, it is greater than 6. Well-graded or uniformly graded soil contains the particles of different sizes. Okay, so therefore, okay, fine. So maybe we'll wind up here itself. So more things we want, we'll have it in the next class. Okay, fine then. Any doubts you have with respect to any of the things, I will send you the notes of the whatever we have done till now. Also some of the questions, important questions. Okay, fine then. Thank you. Okay.